Oh, it's you. Well, we're back again in the Model Y, and today I want to talk about 5 what I think are secrets or things that haven't been really talked about that you should probably know about on the Model Y. So let's start with number 1. The first secret is the visors. So if you have a Model 3, the visors look almost identical, and you'll see that they fold down. They've got this little iPad cover light thing, and it's got the light and the mirror and everything there. But a little bit different than the Model 3 is how it connects on the inside. So let me show you. On the Model 3, it actually just clips into place like your standard car, but on the Model Y, it's magnetic. So you'll listen really closely. It just holds it. Small, I know, but it's something different. Now, it still does come out. It still does extend, which not a lot of people know. But yeah, you can go like this. But the main thing is that it magnets and holds it there. So you have less chances of breaking that little plastic piece that holds this because now it's magnet. So that's number 1. Let me show you number 2. So number 2 are going to be the door seals on the Model Y. This is a much more thicker, robust door seal than what's present on the Model 3. It's just, I can't really describe it, but it's thicker, it's harder.
That's what she said.
It's not as flexible. There were no bubbles in it. The way it contours around the edges are really nice. And then along with that, having great seals means having a great door close. So let me show you what I mean. Did you hear that? Listen to that thud. Yeah, it sounds really good, and that's because of these really good door seals that are in here. I'll just add a comparison now, just so for those of you that are confused, a lot of people talk about these as being door seals. These stayed pretty standard. They're still the very soft, flexible style. Many of you have put an additional one on the exterior to help improve the sound, but the Model Y does have a very different sound because of these door seals. Let me show you the Model 3, for example. So here's my Model 3. You'll see that this is very like, oh wow, there it just comes apart. But you'll see that it's very flexible. It's very soft. This is very squishy. It's not as solid. You can see there's a discoloration happening, but it's definitely got a lot more flex than what the Model Y has as far as, the door seal. And then on my Model 3, now this is not going to be what your Model 3 sounds like. Mine's going to sound a little bit better just because I did put a secondary seal here, but see, it sounds a little bit different. It's not so much that thud. It's a little bit better because of the secondary door seals, but it's definitely not the same as the Y. All right, hidden feature number 3 is these vents. So in the trunk, you're gonna find that there are these vents up here. They're just below the seat fold down buttons, and there's one on either side. So this is the driver's side one. In here you'll find your basic kind of wiring. You'll see high voltage wiring, but like the Model 3, if you kind of fiddle around in there, but there is a hidden pull tab, and that's the pull tab to be able to release your charging port. There's a O-ring pull tab right here. If your charging port were to ever get stuck, you pull on this pull tab and it will release the charging port from the other side. Now, in retrospect, this is a little bit different than the 3, but also very similar. If we look at the other side, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see up in here, but when you take a good look, what you'll find is right in this cabinet, this is where your subwoofer is. And so these vents are allowing the sub sound and air to be able to come out. So that's kind of nice and handy. And you can see the Tesla logo on the subwoofer in there. So that's kind of nice. That's a little tidbit number 3. All right, so what you're seeing here is underneath the driver's side seat. As you can see, it's a huge amount of space. And so while Tesla doesn't give you anything to do with this space, don't get it wrong because you could definitely utilize this space. So let's look at height of this space. Obviously, the front is a little bit smaller than the rear because this is where the vent is. It's right underneath this floor. But you're looking at about 5 inches of height. And then when you look at the length from left to right, you're looking at about 14 inches. And so I can possibly imagine that somebody will be creating a drawer here, and it's something that can be stored underneath, something that doesn't come in the way of the vent, and something that you could easily use just to put some quick, easy stuff, at least for maybe just this front area. Because once you go past, this is actually a slope right here, and this is the vent right under here. So at least for this area right here, you know, it's a good amount of space that a makeshift drawer could put or somebody could create, and that's at least like 7 inches of space right there. So yeah, that could be found on both the driver and passenger side, so that is really handy. All right, so this is the front, and what you're gonna notice here is that this looks a lot different than the Model 3, the Model S, the Model X, and that's mainly because of this large plastic, I guess it's like a polymer, kind of, people will call it insulation that's on top. And you know, a lot of people have speculated whether this is going to allow, if you put food, drinks, and beverages in your frunk, to remain cold. I don't think that's what it is. What you'll notice though is as you come down and you see how the frunk comes down, there's a gap. As you can see right back there, there's that little bit of gap. And so if the front comes down, it's gonna leave a space which could allow some of your stuff to come out, you know, and so forth. And so what Tesla had to do was create this new kind of filler. Basically, the frunk doesn't come down far enough to keep the frunk area closed. And so this basically meets that when it shuts. So let me kind of try to show you. All right, so watch as I pull this down. You're gonna see that what I'm talking about and kind of how it will actually fill in this space, because the frunk is gonna close like this, and it's gonna create a gap if it wasn't for this plastic kind of rubbery fill. Now, does that mean you have more insulation? Probably, but there's no drain in here, so I don't know about putting ice and stuff in here. But yeah, maybe your stuff might be a little bit insulated in here, but you can kind of see it.
Another interesting thing about the Model Y is the side mirrors. This, for example, is a Model 3 side mirror, and what you'll notice is the blue inner circle. That's the auto dimming feature available in a Model 3 when you get a car behind you with bright lights. It auto dims to help, you know, you see better. In the Model Y, you'll notice that there is no ring. So it doesn't have an auto dimming feature in the Model Y. And what I've also recently been hearing is that it's not coming in new Model 3s either. So it looks like with the Model Y, there is no auto dimming side mirror.
All right, so if you stuck around, I've got one more. One more I talked about briefly when we first looked at the Model Y, but I just want to show you. And if you know the Teslas today, like the new Model 3s being delivered today, they've got what's called a pedestrian warning signal, or, you know, tone that plays at low speeds when you're either in drive or in reverse. And so with the Model Y, it doesn't seem to have it. There's no sound coming from the vehicle. However, let's take a look underneath to see if it can even support it if the time should come. God, this car is low. All right, getting under here, you'll see right here, see that? That's the speaker holes for the pedestrian warning signal. So I don't know if the equipment is back underneath there and if they'll enable it through a software update, but as of right now, there's no noise. So lucky early Model Y customers have no pedestrian warning signs. So that's always nice to see. And now I'm on the ground. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you learned some of these cool features that the Model Y had and you want to know more about Model Y, consider subscribing. And I got to get up off the ground and get out of here. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.